You don't need a reason and justification. You can just choose something as just because. Hi, guys.
Hi,
Welcome to the Changed Up Me podcast.
welcome back.
Welcome back, actually, yes. It's so funny because last time we wanted to talk about my new book. We started to talk about my new book, but then we talked about everything, but not the book. So this time, we hopefully going to go through the process of creating this book and anything else. Hello,
Yes.
Bea. My
Hi.
partner in crime is Bea, just like usual. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's do
Today
it, baby.
we are going to talk about the book. So let's start maybe with the title.
Okay. What's
How
the title?
What is the title?
What is the title?
How did it come to you? How did you go about naming your book?
I think it was like 2020 during the lockdown. I was doing a bunch of Facebook Lives in my Facebook group. We had a bunch of people in there because, everyone was locked in. No one could leave the house and people were searching. And also, I guess many people went through a bunch of really bad stuff at the time, like losing jobs and family members, And I just wanted to give to people. So I showed up every day, and so many people did. So my Facebook group at the time was like really active. And I remember once I was talking about that, like someone had a question, and I was talking about that we try to control everything in our lives. We try to tell our lives what we want to do with that. But then when you let your life speak, then your life would tell you what it intends to do with you. Not like from the karma point of view or everything is written and, laid down for you. You just walk through life. More like you have so much more available to you than you expect or you think you have. And that was my favorite question at the time from the book, Let Your Life Speak. If you would let your life speak, what your life would tell you. And going with that question for a while, I had this Facebook Live and someone was telling me that, I don't know, she lost her job. She doesn't know what to do with her life and she was confused. And I asked her this question. I was like, okay, but what life wants to live in you? Why wouldn't you just go and ask this question? And I would like to go back a little bit because all of my books' title are questions, not really something that, I don't want to tell people what to do. I want to bring them into questioning everything. And also with my books, this is the main goal, to teach people how to question everything they have really solid in their life. And I don't think the lady took my question and used it, but I did for the next couple of years. And I always wanted to write books. Just this past weekend, I went to the attic and I found over 25 journals since 2019. And I went through all of them and I was crying the whole time. It was crazy. The very first time when I started to journal, it was 2019, January 7th. That was after my divorce. I find a new apartment and I moved into that apartment on that day. And I wrote down so many things and everything happened, everything already being created. It was crazy. And so in my journals, I would ask myself a bunch of questions. And so I started to ask me a question, what life wants to live in me. If I wouldn't want to tell my life what I want to do with that, or with it, what would my life want to tell me about my possibilities, And it changed everything. And so basically when I came across Bence, was helping me with the books. He's a Hungarian guy. I knew the title. I knew this is going to be the title. This was my favorite question at all times. And also because the book is about my past and my, experiences. We will talk about that a little bit. It was just a no-brainer that this will be the best title. I mean, it came to me in Hungarian and it was not easy to translate into English. It also, the lady who helped us, she was from the US. She was like, this question makes no sense to people. I was like, good, amazing. That's the goal. If it doesn't make sense to your mind, that's what I want. So this is how it came to me.
I think when it comes to translation, sometimes you just have to let it go and just translate energetically, right?
Yes. I mean, it happened many times because the book was written in Hungarian.
Yeah.
We find this amazing lady, she's Hungarian, and she, in her free time, she translates spiritual books and really old books from not actually well-known people, but like interesting books. And someone who I know, he buys this translation for these books from her. So basically it's a club. And we asked her if she would translate my book into English. But it was kind of English, so we needed to work on editing. And when we were editing the book, I was in the whole process. It was so funny because so many things doesn't make sense to people. And it happened even in the creation of the Hungarian book as well, because, the editor had so many questions to me. It's like, this make no sense. And I was like, I know, but that's the whole point. It doesn't make sense to your brain. You should let it go. You can be this, but you cannot do this stuff.
And when it comes to letting your life speak to you, how do you do that? How do you have this allowance, or how does one do it?
I love this because I always been a controller and a doer. I was always busy, and being honest, I created so much with that also. And at some point my body started to break down. I was not really happy, so my life at the time was not fulfilling me anymore. And don't get me wrong, it was amazing. Like, we made a bunch of money. We made over $1 million a year, a month. Oh, what am I aware of? So we were making a bunch of money. We had a big team, huge classes, and everything was just kind of perfect from the outside. And I was realizing at the time, I had a couple people around me who were closer to me, and they were helping me with the company. I don't want to make them wrong. I just realized that what the dream was, it wasn't really my dream. Or maybe not just that. Maybe it wasn't the dream that I wanted to, achieve at the moment. Maybe a year before, that was the dream. But then I got there and I was like, no. I was constantly creating content every day, a bunch of content. And I was kind of like a machine at some point. And I hated my life. And I moved out of Budapest so I could be far away from people. And I started to just, separate and isolate myself from people. And I was really happy doing that. But at the same time, that wasn't really me. So I had to make some really uncomfortable decisions, which I did in 2024 and 2025. I basically changed the whole theme, and I gave myself some space to discover, like, who am I? Like, what do I want to create? What's true for me? And, when you create for proving things to people outside of you, or because over the years, so many people told me I was just a nobody. I remember once in 2019, when I moved back from the US, my ex-husband's, some friend of his ex-girlfriend, they were together when we were together. She came to visit me here in Budapest, and we were sitting in a coffee shop, and she told me, you know what my ex-boyfriend told me about you back then? I'm like, no, what he had to say? And she said, oh, he said that don't be friends with you because you are a nobody. And in San Francisco, you don't want to be friends with a nobody. And that was amazing because I knew I wasn't a nobody. But at the same time, this kind of stuff stuck with you. And I started creating like a crazy bitch. And I was like, you guys, just watch, okay? I'm not a nobody. I don't want to be someone, but I'm not a nobody. And that was just one example, but I could tell you a billion examples that people would, not acknowledging me or judging me or whatever. And even from my childhood, I wasn't, acknowledged or recognized by my parents, and they were not available emotionally at all, like zero. So for me, as a small child, I was always proving, and I wanted attention. I wanted everyone to love me and not to hate me. And that came with me. And it was basically around like 2024, 2025 when I realized I just can't live like this anymore. I'm dying from proving people that I am, I am who I am. And this is when everything started to change for me, basically. I can't remember the question. Why I'm talking about this?
We just took a tour, but it was
Welcome to my brain.
I love your brain.
Welcome to my brain.
How does one allow his or her life,
Oh, yeah.
life to speak?
I see why I'm talking about this.
Yeah, but you also mentioned many things already. But
Yeah.
Continue.
Sorry. So in 2024 and 2025, I needed to make a change. So basically in 2025, I started to give myself more space. And in that space, so I realized that you have to create space in order to be able to receive. So basically, what happened to me was I wasn't working that much that I used to. And I actually I was practicing on my colleagues. So, because before I was terrified from telling them the truth, what I was doing. And I always had to prove everyone also in the company that I was working so much. And I realized I don't think what brought me to create $1 million is not the same thing that will bring me to create more. And it's not the same people who brought me to 1 million. And I need to find those people who are willing to have more, create more, receive more. But first of all, I need to be the person who receives more and who is willing to receive more. And it's been an ongoing process because even just recently, I started to create even more space where I can receive, because I realize I have to quiet my mind. I have to quiet the outside world. It was the election in Hungary. It was a lot to process, also energetically. But if you was scrolling through social media for the past 2 years, it was fucking insane and crazy. And anything else, it was just super loud. So I think how you create this space where your life can start to talk to you is when you create space for yourself and you have your own time, when you have no walls and barriers and you can just be, then ideas, the future starts to talk to you. And my future always talked to me. Like I always, like when I maybe mentioned in a couple episodes before that I had this accident and the next day I woke up, I started to change. And then around like 2016 in January, I took my first letting go class, Sedona releasing class. And that was when my future started to talk to me. And I get the sense of the future, and I still get it to today. Not like a picture or something. It's more like an energy. You have to choose towards that energy. And that's what I did. So I guess you do a lot. And then you realize that being busy all the time give you no space to receive. And if you want bigger and more, and you want a bigger future, you have to receive more. You have to increase your receiving. So I think that's what the main goal for you is, to create that space.
I remember the book launch that you had, the event.
Which one?
It was for
this one?
For this one,
Ah,
yeah.
okay.
Sorry.
No. I couldn't remember if you've been to the last one. Have you?
I was.
No.
No, I was. In
Yeah, you were
Bali.
in Bali.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I'm like,
for the first one. And I remember you talking about like the message that you want to give to people through this book, like why the book was born and what you want, what the goal or the mission of the book is. Could you maybe mention a few words about that?
It is interesting because it's different now.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Then let's talk about it.
So I think a bunch of ideas come to you, and either you do something with it or not. The idea will go to someone else, and because the idea wants to born, right? And if you are not fast, you are not asking questions, the idea would be like, you're fucking boring. I'm walking away, and you just keep doing your boring life. Good for you. And I knew I need to create this book. As I mentioned, I find my first journal from 2019. And it's funny, it says, I am an author to many books. And I was just reading and I was like, I would cry. I'm like, wow, I knew always that I will have more books, not just one book. And I also said that it's not a secret. I'm not a good writer, but I like to talk. And as you see, and when I created my book, I wasn't writing. I just went to Mexico City. I was waiting for the right day. The day came. I sat down and I recorded the whole thing in a couple hours. And there it was. And we started to work on the book right away. Back then, the message was different. I really wanted to share with people what I've been through, and you don't have to be stupid as I was. Because my main message at the time was that you have a choice. You always have a choice. Because when I was a hairdresser, my life was so uncomfortable. I hated it. It was not easy. It was a heavy life. Even though I was super successful in what I was doing, but I was not brave enough to choose something different, and because of that, I wasn't choosing what was true for me. The universe was like, dude, we tried to stop you many times. Just in the past 2 weeks. You're not listening? Come along. Let's get on your scooter. And then boom. And what I like, the first message of the book would be, hey, just listen and choose something else. You don't have to create tragic, or you don't have to create trauma and drama to be able to change your life. You can just go and choose something else because just like that. And I never gave myself the permission to that. And I needed some proof. I was always in this reality where you had like the, how would you say? In Hungarian we say okozat.
Cause and what comes from cause.
Yeah, right? But you always have to have that.
Yeah.
You have to know, like, this is what happened and this is why I break up with you.
Yeah.
While many times you would break up even before. You just you don't have the right reason to break up.
Do you mean that it has to be logical because
Yes.
like based on what society deemed
Yeah.
is logical?
Because you don't break up just like that. You have to have a reason and justification. Okay, we broke up because you did this. You are like this. I don't like it, and it, and you call a quit. But at the same time, you can just say, hey, it was wonderful. What if we just go away and create our own life from now on without each other? And we don't do that. You need a reason and justification for everything. And I guess this was for me. I needed a reason and justification why I'm not going to be a hairdresser anymore. And that was one of my main message for a long time. It's like, hey, you don't need a reason and justification. You can just choose something else just because.
I think it used to be on your website. I
Yeah.
think that was the header, right?
Yes.
or on social media. I remember that.
Yes. It was that, and also I think the biggest message was on my website that you always have a choice.
Yeah, you always have a choice. Yeah, that's what
yeah.
it is.
I love that. I love that message till to this day.
It's life changing.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, yeah, I know I have a choice. Yeah, you really do. You really do. Do you? Yeah, no, yeah. And because also me, sometimes I wake up in the morning and I feel like I don't have a choice here, or different situations, but we do. We actually do, because we have like this infinite possibility available to us, but we cannot see it. And just what I told someone, and I guess this is the other message of the book, is how small you have to make yourself for this to be relevant or significant. Like if you spend out and let's say you go so further away, you expand out yourself to the universe and you look back to your body and you're laughing at yourself. It's like, oh my God, someone was not kind to me and I make it significant, or this person said that, I made it significant, I stopped myself. And that's really stuck with me since 2019. It's like how small we make ourselves to make things relevant, and we are just like spinning on our face all the time instead of just being and enjoying life and being happy. Isn't it crazy? We're fucking crazy.
It is crazy. It is crazy.
I think
Because
so.
we get so caught up in things. And then we don't think about that we are basically living on a rock that's floating around.
We're living under the
spinning.
rock. I think most people live under this rock. And they're like, yeah, that's my life. It's small, but it's okay. I'm safe. Good.
I think also what you said about choice, it also has so many layers. You
Mm.
realize that you have a choice in something and you still have in the back of your head, or like there are certain things that you still don't think about, that you have choices regarding that area.
Yeah.
And then it comes to you, and then another area comes to you, right?
But what the funny thing is about that is that you create the possibility. I mean, it exists. But you as a being, you either separate yourself from them or you make a connection to them. And it's your choice. You can put up walls and barriers and be in your head and like head tripping all the time, right? And being in the labyrinth and has no exit. Or you can start to create the connection with the infinite possibilities. And it's because it's so simple and easy to do. People are like, nah, that must be not true. Nah, I don't trust that. I'm not going to ask questions. This is fucking stupid. Like, this is just stupid. But how you create the connection with these infinite possibilities is one, you're being the space as an infinite being that you are. And the next thing what you do is you just ask questions. It's like, okay, what else is possible here? These are all access consciousness questions. I guess I mentioned them in the book also, because like every part has like its own little toolbox. Yeah, basically. And so you ask those questions and you stay curious and you wonder. Like that's how you ask how many questions, and that's how you build your muscle, that you are wondering all the time, like, I wonder what would it take to create this? I wonder who I have to be able to achieve that. I wonder what else can I do? And you know what I realized recently? I always hated myself because I was always a person who loved to be alone. I hated myself for that because over the years, I became even more and more that person who wants to just be alone. And I realized I am a 2-hour girlfriend because I am with someone for 2 hours and I'm like, okay, we're done. Bye, do you go? I go. And I hated myself for that. And I like to be alone. But I realized, because I was creating this new energy, this new life, because of that, I needed space. And those people who are constantly judging, head tripping, and they try to create smaller and smaller and smaller boxes, it's just, I just can't be around them anymore. And I think it's okay. I don't know why I'm saying this, who has to hear this, but it's okay. If you feel when you start this journey, you start to like yourself more and you realize you are the best company. There are some people who are good company, but it's really rare and really few people. And I think it's okay.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, so basically, the praise was written by Dr. Dane here, who is one of the founder of Access Consciousness. And I adore Dane. I once told him, if you would never talk to me ever again, but I know you exist in this universe, I know I'm good. He's just by being and, being alive on this planet makes me be really grateful, because he's one of those people who has so many gifts and he likes to give them to people. And, I don't want to use help because this is not what he does, but, when you are in his presence, your walls and barriers are melting away. You cannot. I remember once you were asking a question at the BU class in Budapest. It's amazing, right? You stand there and then everything you been through, that you form your question about it, you are at the mic and it's not relevant anymore. And you try to ask the question, but it's just not relevant. And you're standing there in that space and you're like, I was head tripping on this for a year. or like 6 months or 2 months or 2 weeks or whatever it is. And then you stand there and it's not relevant anymore. Isn't it crazy? So
I found myself starting my questions lately with, I don't think it's relevant anymore, but I will ask.
anyway. Yeah, I mean, you should ask because yes, it's not relevant, but you were head tripping, so maybe someone can facilitate you through. So it's really not going to be relevant. But it's amazing when you are with those people who has no judgment, who does not want you to prove anything. You are good. You don't have to be anyone or anything. It's okay to be you. You don't need to be more. You don't need to be less. And when you are in that space, your problems are not relevant. Your questions are not, not relevant anymore. I always wanted to be the person for the people who attended my classes as a facilitator. And I hope I was that for them.
I was going to say that you are a person in your company. Walls and barriers also melt.
Maybe I should facilitate myself more often. When it comes to you, it's like you become a student and then you are just a stupid bitch. It's the same thing when I go to my my friends are hairdressers and I go for a haircut or I go to do something with my hair and they're like, okay, what are we gonna do? I'm like, I don't know. You are the hairdresser. And it's so funny. They're like, you are a hairdresser too. I'm like, I know, but I'm sitting in this chair and I'm a client. I'm stupid. Like, tell me what to do. And it's the same for me when I'm living my own life. I'm like, I wonder what would it be like to be that person who I am on stage? Because when I am on stage, limitation not existent. No. And not even for me. And it's amazing. When I am doing that more, I wonder why I'm. I wonder now in this conversation why I'm not doing classes this year. Maybe it would be too much change for me.
Would it?
Well, yes, I think so. I think so. So yeah, so that's about Dane, and he's amazing. I told people, if you would just read the praise, I think if you're not going to read the whole book, just the praise, you're good. It's worth the money. It's so good. And yeah, all the other, content is about letting go, creating your reality, figuring out what the life that wants to live in you. There is like success, relationships, body, financial stuff, and future creation. These are my favorite topics, by the way. So that's why I chose them.
Have you always known that? Or like when you set out to write it, did you know that you will cover these areas?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, because, in Hungary, we did so many online programs. Like, for example, the Happiness Academy, which was a 3-month program. And I realized over the years, these are the topics the most people stuck in. And some people stuck in every area, some people in one area. And sometimes in this area, sometimes in that area. And I think these are the topics that we choose to stop ourselves the most. Like most people stop themselves with their bodies. There is always something going on. There's always something like, oh, I'm tired, I couldn't sleep. I'm bloating. Like that's really true for me. Honestly, when I started to use the tools of access consciousness, for the very beginning, everything was broken. Like my relationship, my body. I had no money. I had no, any idea about the future or what comes next. Or everything was broken. And I started to change, and everything changed, but not my body area. And I always said, this is a black hole. If this will change at some point, that will be a miracle. And when it started to change, but this is the area which I use the most to stop myself, because I'm like, I don't feel like it. I don't look like good. I'm not going to do a video. I love it. I can stop myself with that a lot. So,
and some people not be the only one.
Yeah, as I was looking at your face, I'm like, it's true for someone, isn't it?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I refuse to answer.
Like guys, think about it. Like how many people say, oh, when I will be skinny and 50 kilogram, I will date again. I mean, I just met someone the other day, and I'm 6 kilo more than I am usually because of some bloating and other digestion issues. Now I know. I didn't know what's going on with my body. And I met this person, and he was like, I'm like, oh, why did you came to me? I'm like, I came here because I want to lose 6 kilos. And he's like, no, not with me. You should not lose any. Well, you look amazing. It's sexy. I'm like, okay. And we have all these ideas in our head, like I will be lovable when I will be skinny. And I don't know if you remember when in 2023, when I did the training with the lady.
Yes, for the competition.
For the competition.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh man, I lost 11 kilos. I had, like, my body fat was so low. I lost my period so low. And I looked the skinniest since I know myself in my adulthood. And I looked at the mirror and I go through those pictures and I know what I was thinking at the time. I thought I was so fat and I was so skinny. I was skin and bone, basically. It was fucking insane. And I'm like, wow, just give me a break, bitch. Let's just give me a break. Can you just like this body in any form and shape? So that's what I'm learning now. I stopped judging myself because I was like super judgmental when like I would gaining 1 kilo every week in the past couple of months. And I was like, oh, what's going on? It's changing now, finally. But I think be good. Like, give you a break. Give your body some breaks. But, I came from a family where my mother was really conscious about her body and body image. It was really important for her. Like, everything is just looks. Nothing inside. she wouldn't care. And my sister is kind of the same. Like, they're really conscious about they look amazing. They're always top. They wouldn't leave the house without the makeup. They always skinny. They always dress up. And it's a fucking competition even for Christmas. Who dress up the best? And it's just not true for me. I don't care. Sometimes I just go without makeup and they're like, huh, gross. I don't care anymore.
We can be very creative with finding limitations for
Right?
ourselves. We should maybe put that creativity into actually create.
I mean, we can talk about this in the next episodes, but it's so interesting because when you, let's say you solve your body stuff, let's say I did the competition stuff and I lost the weight. I find different things to worry about. So I couldn't worry about my weight anymore and my look because I knew that I was sporty. But in my head, if you have a point of view that you are fat, the point of view doesn't go away with you losing weight. You have to get rid of the point of view first, and then things will change for you. But I didn't know at the time. And my body was fine. So I started to look for other stuff that I can save and solve and change and worry about. And I think we're just bored to death. So you need a project all the time. Maybe a boyfriend. That could be a good project.
I did not hear that. Would you say that that's one way we actually stop ourselves from letting our lives speak to us?
I think so. Yes. Yeah. Like, for example, I grew up in my family and they, because my parents were not available, energetically and emotionally at all. It changed me. It wired my brain in ways that, I needed to change those things. But it takes practice because when your brain is wired one way, it's basically, I don't know, when you walk in a forest and people walk on the same path, the path is there. You can see, oh, people walked here before. Like, that's the same for your brain. So basically, you get used to those paths and it knows. It's just that's the simplest way. And you need to change that, but you have to create new path in your brain. And it takes practice to change that because it goes with, the autopilot. And I guess that's how, when you start let your life speak to you and you ask what life wants to live in you, it starts to change those paths in your brain and new stuff can show up for you and you open up for more possibilities. Yeah, I think so.
I think that's a great way to wrap up. Is there anything else you would like to say about the book or to
Yes,
the
I want to say one thing. Buy the book. I want to say, please buy my book and give me a review on Amazon, please. So you can buy the book on Amazon, even in Kindle version. And also, I think we showed it last time. So you can have the hard copy.
Exactly.
And yes, and let us know how you like it. You can send us a message to our, you find a contact on our website, and we want to know and hear from you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you, guys. See you in 2 weeks.